Hi everyone, my name is Chaitni and I am a mindset and nutrition coach. So I help clients cope with stress, anxiety, or depression by forming healthy habits, making lifestyle changes, and incorporating proper nutrition. So I drop these wellness videos once a week, every week, and they cover, mental, emotional, and physical aspects of your health. They focus a lot on self-care and self-love. So if any of this interests you, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you're more of a reader, I also have a blog that goes out bi-weekly. So you can sign up for that blog. The link will be in the description. And lastly, you can follow me on Instagram. It is at Imperfect Bodies by C. Modi. So with that out of the way, today's topic is how do you manage your time when you're feeling stressed out? So when that stress escalates and you feel like you have so much to get done, time management can just go completely out the window. You can feel very stuck. You can feel it's very easy to procrastinate. It's also easy to feel, that you're really overwhelmed and you have so much to do, you're not sure how you're going to get it done. And, you just don't have enough time to get it all done. So when that happens, you really want to have some go-to time management techniques so that you can not just manage your time, but you can also manage your stress. So what I'm going to share with you today are a few different ways. They're very basic, they're very simple, and yet effective. You can even use them in your daily life, but especially when you're experiencing that sense of panic or overwhelm or anxiety, when you have a lot to get done and you feel like you're kind of nearing your breaking point, you can take advantage of these tools that I'm going to give you and implement them and see what works for you. So tool number one is make a list of everything that you need to get done. So if you keep everything in your head, when that list is mental, it can be extremely overwhelming. It is taking up precious space in your mind. It's also taking up precious energy. So instead of that, just release it. Get it out of your head, put pen to paper and write that list down. Or if you want to make it on your computer, you make it on your computer, or if you want to put it in the notes section of your phone, that's what you do. But the point is get it out and make it visual. Now, one thing to keep in mind, as you are making this list, and once you do make your list, the smallest of things can go on this list, like having lunch, taking a shower, taking your pup for a walk, whatever it is. Put it all down. It might feel a little bit like a trigger. It might feel as you're looking at the list and making the list that, oh my goodness, I have so much to do. It might feel like more than you can manage and more than you even want to do. But that's natural. When that happens, just take a few deep breaths and tell yourself that this is doable, this is manageable, and you're going to do it. And this is just the first step in the process. So that's all. You just need to give yourself a little bit of that pep talk and just remember to breathe, because it's very easy to stop breathing, as you're putting everything down and as you're making that list. And then tip number two is pick the easiest item on that list. It could be something as simple as taking a shower, or it could be something as simple as, putting the clothes in the washer. Or it could be responding to a really quick email, something that's more of a yes or no response, or something that just requires an attachment. So start with something that's very easy, something that's very simple, something that feels very doable. And what that's going to do is it's going to start to build your momentum. Because sometimes when we have a lot to do, we stagnate, we procrastinate, we have paralysis, and we're not able to get anything done. So this step is a way to get that ball rolling and get you to just start somewhere. And where better to start than where something makes you feel that this is really easy and really simple to do. So pick that item off your list. Once you do it, cross it off, check it off, however you want to get rid of it. And one thing to keep in mind, even if as you progress through the list and you pick something a little bit more complex, instead of thinking that, oh my goodness, this is going to take me hours to do, and hours that I don't have, or Oh my goodness, I just don't have the bandwidth for this. How am I going to get it all done? Just tell yourself that it's 5 minutes. All you need to do is dedicate 5 minutes to that task. And if you're able to survive the 5 minutes, then you will tack on another 5 minutes. So again, what this does is it starts to give you clarity and it starts to get you moving. And that is what we need is, action really is important, and action comes before motivation. So that is why if you act on it, you're going to have that motivation, you're going to have the willpower, and you're going to have that drive to just keep on going. So, whether it's analyzing some data, or whether it's making a meal for 10 people, whether it's, running a bunch of errands, whatever it is, just tell yourself, you know what? 5 minutes. That is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to start with this one small dish, or I'm just going to start with this, with just the grocery store, or I'm just going to look at this one spreadsheet and see, what it does and see how I feel. And if I feel like I'm getting it done, I'm going to tack on another 5 minutes. It'll give you clarity, it'll get you moving, and it's a great way to just, instead of diving in and just, jumping in the deep end, it's a great way to just take some baby steps and get going. Okay, and then tip number 3 is you figure out absolutely what needs to get done. And this is following the 80-20 principle, or the Pareto principle is what it's called. What that means is, how will 20% of your effort yield 80% of the outcome? So you see your effort is limited, but it has a pretty big ripple effect. And that is what you want to focus on instead of the 80%, which isn't going to give you the outcome that you want. So how do you figure out that 20%, right? You need to first prioritize your tasks. That's why I said you really focus on the most important items. What is absolutely something that needs to get done? And that is what you spend your time on instead of worrying about everything else that's on your list that could possibly wait. Because nothing is equally important. Remember that. I know it may feel like that, but not everything is not equally important. So you prioritize your tasks. You also combine your tasks. You find a commonality in the different tasks and you club them or combine them together. So for instance, if you're cooking a meal and, all your laundry stuff is right there, you might throw a load in the laundry while you're cooking your meal. Or, if you're working out, you might, just have that mat there. You've done your meditation and now maybe you want to do a quick 10-minute workout or a quick 10-minute stretch. So again, you're clubbing that together, right? It all has to do with your wellness. So you can club it by location, by time, by priority, by different areas of your life, whatever is going to work for you. But that will really get you to do less, but get more done. Something else that you can also do is delegate, outsource, and automate. So delegate to your family. If you're making a meal, you don't need to do it all from scratch, right? Maybe there are family members who can help you chop, or they have strengths and maybe they can clean up afterwards, or they can maybe help with dessert. Outsource whatever you need to. A lot of times it's a pain in the butt to go and get groceries, or you want to cook at home but you just don't have the groceries. Okay, so order online, or sign up for a some kind of subscription service that can drop off the vegetables and the fruits on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis. So lots of options out there. You can also automate a lot of your processes. So for instance, if that the last Sunday of the month you're sitting down to pay the bills and it just feels like such an exhausting process, well, stop doing that. There is autopay. You can set things up on autopay. You can use a bunch of different financial apps out there that can also keep track of your expenses and help you cancel subscriptions that you aren't really using and make sure that all of your autopay goes through. So lots of options out there. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of research to figure this out, but it's totally worth it because in the long run it simplifies the process, it makes it less stressful, and you're able to actually get more done. So remember the Pareto rule, which is the 80-20 rule, is 20% effort that will yield to 80% outcome. And then tip number 4 is you want to factor in rewards, right? When you're already feeling really stressed and you're feeling overwhelmed, and you know you have to get a lot done, you don't necessarily want to get it done, there needs to be somewhat of a motivation. Willpower just isn't going to cut it. So give yourself that motivation, set a reward, make a deal with yourself. It might be working for 25 minutes straight without any breaks, setting aside all distractions, setting a timer for 25 minutes, and then at the end of 25 minutes, maybe taking a 5 or 10-minute break. That break could be, a short walk around the neighborhood, or a coffee break, or, maybe just scrolling on your phone for just 5 or 10 minutes. So set a reminder for that too, or set a timer for that. Keep those breaks short and sweet, obviously, as you do want to be productive and you do want to get stuff done, but have that reward. It might also be just maybe having a hot chocolate at the end of those 25 minutes, or it could be checking your messages, or checking Instagram, or just relaxing, just staring at the walls and just relaxing. So whatever it is, you figure out your reward, but remember to factor in the rewards, because this is when that intrinsic motivation isn't necessarily going to work. You're going to need something extrinsic. And then tip number 5 is remember to focus what's at hand. It's so easy for our minds to just, step way into the future and worry about things that haven't even happened, that may never happen. And especially when you're feeling stressed out or you're feeling anxious about getting all this done, it could be easy to not be in the present. So, either have it up on your laptop, on your computer, or have it as a sticky note somewhere. Maybe have it as the background on your phone. But just put something there that says, I'm doing what I can, because everything is not going to be in your control. So focus on what you can control and focus on what you can't do. Along with that, something else to remember is to tell yourself you're doing the best you can. 2020 hindsight is always perfect, right? It's always 2020. But in that moment, are you giving it your best? Are you doing everything that you possibly can, given the circumstances, given the time crunch, given your mental state or physical state? And if you are, then that is what you need to remember. Instead of remembering how you need to go through that list and get everything checked off, you focus on the other side of it, which is I'm doing the very best I can, and I'm going to do what I can do. What doesn't happen, doesn't happen. Life is not going to stop. I can assure you of that. So if there are a few things on your to-do list that don't happen, if there are a few things that get delayed, that's okay. There's always tomorrow. You can just push it off to tomorrow. And why is that okay? Because I've shared some of the other steps with you, right? Where you are prioritizing what absolutely needs to get done, where you are actually making the effort and starting to get things done, where now you have a visual of everything that you need to get done. So remember to give yourself these pep talks, and really this is the truth. Believe in what I'm telling you. Like I said, put sticky notes, put reminders wherever you need to, because it's very easy to forget this stuff when you're feeling like you just don't have enough time and there's way too much to do. And then tip number 6, this one is very important. Most of us tend to not follow it, but just keep it in mind. Do not multitask. When you have 10 things on that to-do list, I know it is so tempting to multitask. What's going to happen is your stress levels will go up, your anxiety will go up, the work you do is probably going to be mediocre, it's probably going to have some mistakes, you might have to redo it, and whatever you're doing is going to take longer than it should. So do not multitask. Do not have dinner and respond to the email at the same time. Do not try to work on a project and make plans with your friends. Try the 25-5 rule if you need to. Work for 25 minutes, take 5 minutes and respond to your friends and make weekend plans if you have to. Or, just sit down and have your meal for 10 minutes and uninterrupted, and then get back to responding to your emails. But really try and not multitask, because it actually expends more energy than just focusing on one task and getting it done. So, these are a few tips that I gave you, right, to avoid multitasking, to follow the Pareto rule, to really have a reward system in place, to remember some positive things like you're doing the best you can, and you're controlling what you can. The rest is what it is. It's about making that visual list. It's about just starting with the easiest thing on the list, and figuring out, what's the most important thing that needs to get done. right? So these are a few of the tips that I shared with you. Take what resonates with you, you know, but don't wait till you're super stressed out. If you have to, that's fine. Remember, you have this video to come to and you have a list of these suggestions, but start to maybe incorporate some of them. Maybe just pick one. Maybe it's really about that 20-80 rule, or maybe it's about setting a reward system in place. Whatever works for you, but start to put some of these time management techniques into your daily life so that when the stress does hit and it does feel like everything is falling apart, you at least have some strategies to fall back on and you still feel somewhat in control and like you can get stuff done. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Just remember time management techniques for when you're feeling stressed out, but you can be proactive and you can start using some of them today or the very next day. Thank you for tuning in. I'm always so grateful for all of you guys. I will catch you here next week. In the meantime, I hope you have a fabulous week.